Hey, good afternoon. My name is Alan Thomas, and I'm the founder of Rethink Dieting. And today I want to talk to you about the common obstacles that we hear all the time to weight loss. And before I get started, I always cover kind of where I come from, the perspective of what, my wife Angie, who partners with me in this venture, and where we come from. In 2017, I stepped on the scale and I saw 304 pounds flash back up at me. It was March 2nd, 2017. And it wasn't that it was that much more than I weighed before, but it was something about seeing that number three for the first time at the beginning of the scale. 300. I'm 5'11. I'm not 7 feet tall. And 300 just was so impactful to me because I was 55 years old at the time, and I'd been in the life insurance business for a number of years. And in the life insurance business, the area of focus that I was in was what we call final expense, which is geared towards people that are age 65 and older. And having sat in literally thousands and thousands of homes with senior citizens, men and women, I couldn't ever remember meeting a man that was 65 years old that had more than 100 pounds to lose or was more than 100 pounds overweight. And the reason it dawned on me that morning, and I never really thought about it, but it dawned on me that the reason I'd never ran into a man that weighed that much at 65 or older was because they were almost all of them were dead. And I say this not to bring shame on people that struggle with their weight, because I was right there with you. I mean, I know what it's like. But it was a wake-up call for me. I literally stood there staring at that scale. It was about 6 o'clock in the morning. It was dark outside. And I just vowed that I'd never see that number again, because what ran through my mind was, my wife, who I married way above my class. And I knew that while she hasn't shopped around for another man yet, I hope she doesn't, that she would likely be married to another man. Our 4 children, who my youngest at the time was 15 years old, now she's almost 22. She would be likely walked down the aisle by another man. And I tell this story over and over, not to bore you with it, but to impress upon you that for those of you that have struggled with your weight, especially the men, but ladies too, it is a death sentence, that obesity. And so I vowed that day that I would get the weight off. And in 260 days, I dropped over 120 pounds, 129 pounds to be exact. And it led to really a transformation of my whole life. It wasn't just the weight. It wasn't, I had never struggled really with any major medical concerns because of my weight, but they were all coming. It hadn't happened yet. But I had all these beliefs that I couldn't get it done. And that's what I want to talk to you today about, these common obstacles that people give us for not being able to lose the weight. We work with individuals who, struggle with 25, 50, 100, 200, and as much as 300 pounds of excess weight. And what happens to us is to those individuals, just like it happened to me for years, was that we get caught up in these beliefs that we have, and they become coping mechanisms just to allow us to get through the day. And for, I go through, I do a lot of calls. I do a free breakthrough session with people where I get really clear on the problem they have with weight, and how committed they are to solve it. And one of the questions that I ask is, what do you think has prevented you from losing this weight? And this is a question we ask on our application in varying forms. And so much of the time you hear these obstacles that just aren't reality. They're not. I mean, I know the individual believes they are. I know they believe it, but the way I cut through it is these 3 questions. And I don't always ask these on the calls that I do, but sometimes I will. The first thing is, number one, number one is getting really, really clear on your ideal weight. I don't believe the ideal weight has to be put on a chart at a doctor's office. Now, I want people to be at a healthy weight. I don't want them to do crazy things. You don't have to do crazy to lose weight. Shocking, I know. You really don't have to do crazy. You don't. And so, but what I ask people is, what do they believe their ideal weight is? And some people don't know, but the way we cut through all the noise in their head is, if the creator of the universe showed up at your doorstep with the version of you that you could have always been at your current age, what would that person be? It's always amazing that everybody I've ever talked to knows the answer. It might be exactly what they told me they thought their ideal weight was. It might be 20 pounds heavier, 20 pounds lighter. I've even had one individual, I remember, uh, shifted their weight 3 pounds down. They said, I just didn't think you believe that's possible. I said, well, it doesn't matter what I believe. It's what reality is. And so getting really, really clear on what their ideal weight is. Okay, that's number one. Second thing is people tell me all the time, well, I can't stick to something. I just can't do it. It's impossible. I have, and I'm going to go over some of these obstacles that I'm going to cover today. I'll cover more in upcoming videos. But I ask them just so I get an understanding of what reality is. It's what their reality is. And I ask them, what if the ones they loved most, sometimes it's family, sometimes it's a spouse, sometimes it's a mother, father, sister, brother, whatever, that's the person they really just love the most in the world. Sometimes it's a pet. I run into that a lot too. I say, if that particular individual was taken hostage and they were, the only way to get them back alive, literally their life, that your loved one's lives are on the line. If they were, the only way to get that individual back alive is to lose 1 pound a week, which is not crazy if you don't already know this, 1 pound a week until you reach your ideal weight. Could you save your loved one's life every time they say yes? Every single time the individual says yes. So number one, they know what their ideal weight is. We all do. We know, secondly, we know that we could do it if somebody else's life were on the line. The third question I have for those and anybody watching this or the video, the replay of this is, why don't you save yours? Because we all, with common sense, we know that obesity is a killer. I mean, it's a literal, it kills people. There's one person dying every 7 seconds worldwide from an obesity-related illness. It is a killer. It's 4.72 million people a year and growing fast. And so, but the obstacles. So and the reason I frame all this for you is not to bore you with these stories, but so you get an understanding of how crazy these obstacles really are. The obstacles are in our mind. I say it all the time. Rethink dieting is about a decision. It's not a diet. And so is weight loss. Weight loss is about a decision. It really is. And what's interesting is people will come to me and they say, well, gosh, I can't stick to it because a family member eats a certain way or that. Now, I'm sympathetic, and I know that can be challenging if you're sitting there, somebody's eating cakes and cookies and pies and all that all the time around you. But is it really true? Go back to that question that I asked. If you could save somebody else's life, would you still eat the things that you know are making you gain weight? The answer is no, you wouldn't eat it if it was somebody else's life on the line. And so think about that. So the obstacles are just myths. The belief that the other one I get a lot of times is they can't be mobile. They've got a medical condition. They've got that. And I get that. Exercise does help. I'm not diminishing the value of exercise. It certainly helps. We want all of our clients to be able to exercise, but quite frankly, some people can't. But there's always a way to lose weight. There just is. I know a client of ours, Rick, I talk about him all the time. He's a superhero, is what I say. 52 years of struggling with diets. He's got a heart condition. He's got, he walks with a walker because his vertebrae are fused. He's over 70 years of age, and he's down more than 100 pounds. He can't exercise, really. And so how powerful is that obstacle? Rick believed that obstacle was a big obstacle for him, but he found a way. We showed him the strategies, and that's what we do. We walk you through simple, time-tested strategies that literally my 14-year-old helped me with when I lost weight, when I released over 100 pounds. These are strategies, but it's the mindset around it. It's the belief that when we believe something is so, we make it so. If we say that the obstacle is too big, I can't get around it. It's, it's like Henry Ford said, if you believe you can, you're correct. If you believe you cannot, you are also correct. So it is a mindset issue. It is. But the biggest one I get all the time is the stick-to-itiveness. I can't stick to it. I can't. No. And from a few good men. I believe was the movie with Jack Nicholson where Tom Cruise was cross-examining him, and he was say you can't. He said, "I need the truth," and Jack Nicholson says, "You can't handle the truth." Well, the reality is many of us cannot handle the truth. The truth is you can stick to it. The truth is there's strategies. There are ways to do it. There's things to do that don't require crazy pills, crazy surgeries, crazy diets. You don't have to do the unthinkable. The other thing is another obstacle, big one that I get that comes to mind is I can't afford to eat healthy. I can't afford to eat better food. It's too expensive. And it's interesting. Sometimes that's the case. I get it. I mean, I know finances can be challenging for a lot of people. Think about this. You can't eat healthy, but when's the last time you went to McDonald's? When's the last time you ate fast food? When's the last time you bought packaged food like chips, cookies, cakes, those kind of things? Those are very expensive when you look at the overall dollar amount. It might not seem like a lot of the time, but you could easily buy foods that you already know are nutritious. You could. I mean, there's no way that there's always a way. There just always is. If somebody's truly committed to getting their weight off, there is. Now, is it easy? No, but are there things that have to be unpacked from a standpoint of how to overcome obstacles, how to do these things? Yes, absolutely. I sympathize. Listen, I know what it's like to sit between the elbows of a 300-pound man. It's awful. The feeling of shame that I felt every day, the feelings of the emotional consequences for my family, of having a father and a husband who is morbidly obese. And it's really costly. Being overweight is so costly. It costs so much more than eating better. It costs so much more than anything you can imagine. And it's because the price that people pay for their obesity is so much of the time is death. And one of the biggest lies that we tell ourselves, now this isn't an obstacle that gets spoken of a lot, but it's probably the biggest obstacle of all, is the belief that we have one more day to fix it. You don't know how many days you have to fix it. I don't know. That was the thing that really got me, was I didn't know how many days I had to fix my problem. I realized that my problem of 304 pounds was a huge problem. When I ask people, say, well, did you have any health problems? I said, yeah, I was morbidly obese. That's a major health issue. That is, but it's not just a health issue. It's an emotional issue, and it drives everything in your life. It becomes this monkey on your back that you just can't escape from, because no matter how much you hide, no matter how much you try to minimize it, you know that it is absolutely impossible to hide the obesity. That was me. And so it becomes this thing that holds us back in every area of our life, in business and relationships and all this. But the belief that we're going to fix it ourselves and we're going to do it tomorrow, bull. That was always my belief. I was going to do it tomorrow. I was going to just pass me one more single serving size of Doritos that said family on it, one more pizza, one more this. And I have no problem with any of the food. I believe Jesus declared all food good. He just didn't say eat it all at once. And so I want to invite y'all to think differently. That's really what this video is about, these obstacles that we have. And I'm going to cover, in the days to come, I'm going to cover more of the obstacles that we get. And we're going to tear those down. It's all just limiting beliefs. That's all it is. And I go back to what I said earlier. If you believe you can, you're right. If you believe you cannot, you're right. And so, but I know it's hard to do this alone. I know it is. I know that the strategies are not easy to deploy. And that's why we have a free training that we created for Rethink Dieting. It's a 5-step strategy that I use to lose 129 pounds in 260 days, and how we show our clients how to lose 25, 50, and more than 100 pounds of excess weight. It's also my wife, Angie. She came along for the journey. Don't think your family won't be impacted by you dropping this weight, because of the fact when I went on my journey, well, gosh, she went on hers too. 63 pounds gone in 190 days. And she did amazing. She looks amazing. She looked amazing before she lost the weight, but 63 pounds in 190 days is no joke. It was always available to her. It was always available to me. but it was a choice. It was a decision. So I want to invite y'all, if you haven't had a chance to check out our free training, go to rethinkdieting.com, register for the training. We walk through the 5-step strategy. There's simple, practical things that you can do, but sometimes the hardest thing to do is simple. The hardest thing, and we show you how to do that. And if you need more support, if you're somebody that when you go through that training first, because that may be all you need to solve your problem. But when you go through it, if you need more support, if you need somebody to come alongside you, then check out, go to transformmyfuture.com/apply. And that's where you can book a totally free breakthrough session with me and my team. Okay. Now what we'll do is we'll get on that call and we're gonna get really clear on your problem with weight, just like I said earlier. We're gonna get super clear on how bad it is. And listen, there's nobody that's ever booked a call with us that is happy with their weight. So leave that at home. We want the truth. We want to know how bad it is. Is it really bad? If it's not bad, I applaud you. That's fine. But we want to know how bad your problem is with weight. We want to know how committed you are to solve it. Is it something you've got to do? Is it just something you're going to do one day where you pass the ice cream and pizza again? Is it something you're just going to put off? Is it something that you absolutely got to solve right now before it's too late? And then the third thing is if we can help. And so go to transformmyfuture.com/apply. You're going to come to an application that'll ask some short questions. It takes about a minute to fill out. It's really very short. I've actually shortened it even more recently. Then you come to my calendar. You'll get to book a spot with me and my team, and to where and pick a spot that works with you. And we'd love to speak to you if it's something, if you need more support. Watch that training first. That training may solve the problem for you. And listen, I look forward to talking to you guys more in the days to come. And really, the obstacles are just decisions that you have. Decisions of limiting beliefs. You have to decide if you want it more or want it less. And so we believe that rethinking this whole process is the answer. And that's what we do. That's what we're all about at Rethink Dieting, helping solve this obesity crisis one mind at a time. Have a great day and God bless.